Hey everyone, today I came across an article online, and it sparked a pretty interesting idea, trying to turn a regular battery into an antenna. Sounds a bit unusual, but I'm curious to see how it would actually work, so I wanted to share it with all of you. First, I'll place the battery upright, positive end down, negative end up. Next, I'll solder a connection on the battery's negative end using solder wire and a soldering iron. I've got a short piece of copper wire ready. Now, I'll connect one end to the soldered negative end of the battery. I'll do the same for the positive end. And that's it. This first part isn't too hard, right? Soldering itself isn't difficult, you just need a bit of focus and practice. Next, I'll assemble another battery cluster just like this. In my hand is a cheap charger with a single USB port. Now I'll slowly open it up, inspect every detail inside carefully, and get ready for the next step. I didn't notice anything unusual. Inside it's just a simple charging circuit. First, I'll pull the charging circuit out of the casing. To get ready for the next connection step, make sure to note these 2 points on the charging circuit. At the 2 points I just mentioned on the circuit board, I'll add 2 more solder connections. With this empty charger casing, I'll carefully drill 2 holes just big enough to pass the ends of the copper wires through the top, making sure everything is precise and safe. In the next step, the first thing I'll do is thread the 2 ends of this antenna's copper wires from the outside of the casing through. To make it look neater and more aesthetically pleasing, I'm using pliers to bend the wires slightly. You're probably curious about what it's for, right? Actually, my idea is to use it as the antenna whiskers to pick up signals. Don't be too surprised. Once we test it, you'll see how impressive it is. After completing the previous step, I'll connect the 2 copper wire ends from this battery cluster to the 2 solder points just made on the charging circuit. Alright, now I'll put the charging circuit back into its original position. I'll hold it in my hand for a moment so you can take a closer look. Moving on to the next step, I'll connect the remaining 2 wires from the second battery cluster to the 2 terminals of the charger. First, I'll use pliers to pull out the 2 terminals of the charger. Since these 2 copper wires are quite long, I'll adjust them first to the proper length before making the connections. So we've just added another whisker to the antenna. Take a moment to look at it. We'll move on to the next step shortly. Here I've got a small square piece of wood about the size of my palm, ready to use as the base for the antenna. Using hot glue, the antenna cluster will be securely fixed to the base. Next, I'll get the additional connecting wires ready. Using a charging cable that's missing one end, I'll prepare it for connecting the TV antenna wires in the next step. This is the TV antenna wire. If you're not familiar with its structure, just follow the connection method I'm showing. You should use tape to fully cover the connection, that way you'll avoid any short circuits or exposed wires. For the remaining end of the antenna wire, I'll connect a straight F connector and a 90-degree F connector. The idea is for this wire to plug directly into the TV. All done. We've completed a homemade antenna device, a bit complex with an extra wire included. Now I'm ready to test it out. Take a look for a moment. Right now, since I haven't plugged in the wire yet, the TV isn't picking up any signal. Now I'll go ahead and plug in the wire. I see that this device is a few seconds slower compared to some of the ones I've made before, but that doesn't take away from the fun and effectiveness it brings. In fact, this DIY process has helped me understand more deeply how electronic components work together, how signals are transmitted, and especially how a simple idea using a battery and copper wire can turn into a truly useful device. Every experiment like this teaches me small details I might have overlooked before, such as adjusting wire lengths, securing the charging circuit properly, or arranging the antenna whiskers for the most stable signal. The key point is you don't need to be an expert to start. With patience, a little care, and a spirit of experimentation, you can create fascinating devices on your own. I want to emphasize that small failures along the way aren't problems. They're opportunities to learn and improve. Those moments make each small step toward completing the device feel meaningful and rewarding. I really appreciate everyone who's watched this far. Your support and interest are a huge motivation for me to keep creating and sharing DIY electronics projects, even when they seem a bit complicated. I encourage you to try it yourself. Don't be afraid of mistakes or challenges. Use whatever materials you have on hand, experiment with simple things like batteries, copper wires, or inexpensive components. You'll see that creating a fully functional device with your own hands brings a joy and excitement unlike anything else. If you found this video helpful or interesting, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss future experiments. Leave a comment below if you have questions, want to share your experience, or have ideas for other DIY electronics projects. I read and appreciate every comment, and it's exciting to see our community learn and grow together. Who knows, your idea might even appear in my next project. Finally, remember that making a device with your own hands isn't just about the end result. It's the journey. A journey where you develop patience, observation skills, and problem-solving abilities. Every solder joint, wire connection, failed experiment, or success contributes to valuable experience. I hope this video not only inspires you but also shows that with a bit of effort and curiosity, anyone can create amazing things from simple materials. Thank you again for watching, and don't forget to interact by liking, sharing, and commenting so we can continue this journey of discovery and creativity together. I promise to bring even more exciting experiments, and who knows, the next project might be even more unique and impressive than today's.